As a young woman who's growing, and I'm not, of course, doing the one pursuing, but how could a young woman, myself included, present herself in a godly but feminine way? What can she do to present herself in a godly and feminine way to her brothers in Christ? What would that look like?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I feel like your mom should be here to help with that. Maybe we'll have her on. Maybe we'll have mom back on. Hey, Dad and Mom.
Hey, Dad and Mom.
Podcast.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this a lot.
Yep.
And we believe that men should pursue and women should respond.
Right.
And so Levi is in the posture of offense.
Yep.
And then you were like, well, how can I be on the offense? And there is a reality that you're not quite in the same boat that Levi's in. Well, Levi's going to find a girl, pursue. You're more kind of like waiting.
Yep.
Well, in the meantime, waiting doesn't mean passive.
Yep.
So you're growing in the Lord. You're actively involved in a community of faith. You're becoming beautiful in the ways that matter in terms of character, virtue, nobility, not just makeup and hairstyles and clothes. And then I think being active in a community, serving, ministering, putting yourself in context that you would want to be in when you're married.
Yep.
So like if you don't want to spend your married life at a bar, then you probably shouldn't go there as a single person looking for a spouse, because that's the trajectory that person's on. If you want to spend your married life in the church, in community, serving, in ministry, building the kingdom, then that's where you should be. And in fact, a really wise man once told me when I was your age, actually 19, I was down in Mexico on a mission trip. He said, my best dating advice would be to get on the front line of the kingdom, serve Jesus and others, and then look to your right or your left to see who's serving alongside you.
Yeah. That's really good.
And that's a great way to think about it,
Yep.
where you can be serving in the church, building the kingdom, actively engaged in the mission of God, and then look around. And what's cool is if, and we've talked about this before, part of the dating process is finding the tension between taking initiative and trusting the Lord.
Yep.
So we want to, especially in Levi's shoes as a dude, he needs to be aggressively, decisively taking initiative with a girl so that there's no ambiguity. Thank you.
Yeah.
Put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. There's no ambiguity. What's the word again?
Ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
I
Thank
said
you.
it wrong too.
Okay.
What did I say?
No, you said it right. Ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
Right,
Yeah.
So Levi's job is to make sure there's no ambiguity.
Yes.
Right.
We did it.
Yes.
Between him and the girl or her father as to his intention needs to be overt.
Right. Yep.
For the girl, there needs to be a willingness to respond. Now,
Sure.
now, obviously, there's a bit of caginess there where you're making it playing a little hard to get, but communicating clearly. We've all talked about Hallmark would be out of Christmas movie business
Yep.
if all the characters in their movies communicated.
Totally.
Right? And so that's where the drama comes from. So being a woman who's willing to openly communicate while not making yourself too open. We talked about text messaging, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And so finding the tension between being intentional and trusting the providence of God.
Yep.
And I think there can be something beautiful for a woman who's like, Lord, I want to be married. I want to grow in my virtue and nobility and character. I'm going to have my eyes open. I'm going to be in the church and community, serving, looking around, and I'm going to trust you and your plan. Right now, women aren't getting married until much later, many because they can't find a godly man. That's why it's important to get into a good community, move if necessary. You can put yourself in contexts where there are more godly men to observe. And so if you're just like home with your cat watching reruns, griping to the Lord about not being married,
Right.
I can tell you why it's not happening.
Yep,
Okay,
totally.
You need to get out, get a haircut, maybe buy a new outfit, and get yourself out in some community where you can be seen. Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, you can click here to listen to the full podcast or click in the link below and go wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. Hopefully you can find us. And if you'd like some more free resources, you can head to StrongerManNation.com.